There's a lot of reasons to feel like this year, movies by and about women finally broke out big time.
Something inside me has always been there.
The top 3 highest grossing movies were fronted by women. There was Star Wars: The Last Jedi,
But now it's awake. And I need help.
Beauty and the Beast,
I'm not ready to have children.
Maybe you haven't met the right man.
It's a small village, Gaston. I've met them all.
and Wonder Woman.
Is this what people do when there are no wars to fight?
There were also huge hits like Girls Trip, Lady Bird, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and I, Tonya.
America, they want someone to love, but they want someone to hate.
But if this is the beginning of the end of male hegemony in Hollywood, we've got a long way to go. Especially when it comes to who's making the films.
It's wild that we're having this battle.
Here's Allison Wilmore, critic with BuzzFeed News.
But, you know, when you look at the numbers, they're really just shocking still.
Those numbers, only 7% of the 1,100 top grossing movies last year were directed by women.
You know, Greta Gerwig is nominated for an Oscar for Best Director this year. And she's only the 5th woman to ever be nominated for Best Director. There's only been one winner, you know, and that's over decades and decades.
This isn't the first time that the top 3 highest grossing films were female fronted. It's happened before. In 1956. Melissa Silverstein is the publisher of the website Women and Hollywood. She says female representation in movies didn't used to be such a problem until the 1970s. The industry exploded, which meant a lot more money was at stake. Producers became more cautious. Movies became a lot more formulaic.
That was when the whole movie industry shifted. And that was when we saw really the huge decline in women.
Add to that the fact that the market is now global.
The way that they've thought about international dollars is men, very few words, lots of action.
You talking to me?
And you get a lot of very conservative bets about what kinds of movies people like. Silverstein says people want what they're familiar with, but we can broaden the familiar.
If you're fed a diet for so long, like a McDonald's diet, and that's what you've been fed, you become addicted to it.
Allison Wilmore says we need to diversify the industry's shot callers who decide which movies to fund. Right now, it's a limited group of white men.
And that's really, I think, what it comes down to is that if you look at a movie and you don't see commercial potential in it because it doesn't speak to you personally, that doesn't mean it's not going to speak to other people.
So there are plenty of movies made by and about women that just don't get bought and distributed to wide audiences. For example, there's a movie coming out next year called The Tale. It's about a woman dealing with sexual trauma. It was the most talked about movie at Sundance, but it was picked up by HBO.
It's going to bypass this whole world of theaters entirely. And, you know, I think that is a huge bummer for me as someone who thought it was a very good movie and a really kind of bold movie, both thematically and kind of in terms of aesthetics.
Movies fall through at all stages of the process, and Melissa Silverstein says that puts a lot of pressure on aspiring female directors.
Because there still is such an issue of a lack, every movie is held up to a higher standard, and we really need that to end.
It can feel like there's undue attention on celebrities when women are sexualized and inhibited in all kinds of workplaces. But Allison Wilmore says there's more at stake than just the individuals in the industry. When it comes to movies,
the accrued weight of these images tends to shape how you think of the world. And certainly, like, not being able to see yourself or your point of view reflected on screen ever, and like having one particular point of view be so dominant has meaning to people.
For Philosophy Talk, I'm Liza Veal.